Hello and welcome to this video. In this tutorial I'm going to show you the new currency strength histogram and the configuration options. So if we have a look at the indicator, we have quite a few new settings. Keep in mind that the ones that are marked off with that have a pattern that looks like this, these are simply placeholders that tell you that everything under this one is related to the time frames, everything under this one is related to layouts. Here we have the averaging, look back, symbols, appearance. And so these you can change these to whatever you like, but they don't change the behavior of the indicator, simply telling you where appearance settings are, symbol settings are, and look back settings are here. Okay, we start at the top. We have the product key, and we have the greater period multiplier, and this simply tells the indicator which time frame to use for calculating currency strength information. So currently we are using the current time frame plus 0, which is the current time frame. So if we go back to the chart, you can see that we have hourly strength information. You go to the 4 hour, this is 4 hour, go to the daily, we can see daily strength information. But if you want to, for example, set this to 2, then the software is going to show us currency strength information from the time frames 2 greater than the one we're currently looking at. So we're on the daily chart, but now it's going to show us monthly currency strength information. If we press OK, you can see here this is the monthly currency strength information. We go down to the 4 hour, now we're looking at weekly. We go to the 1 hour, we're looking at daily. And this is useful because it enables us to trade in line with the greater period strength. Then we have the layout, and this layout is currently set to true. It is set to true in default, and this is to simply show you, I'll show you why I like that. It's simply used so that you can view the histogram and the dashboard in the same window. So if we have a look here, you can see that on the left side we have the dashboard, on the right side we have the histogram. And if you zoom in, you can update the screen by going to a different time frame, and it's going to move it to the right side of the chart. If you zoom out a lot, like so, you can see it's going to fill half of the chart. And so doing this way enables you to view the dashboard, so the bigger picture on the left side, and the histogram information on the right side, which I think is a pretty useful feature and something that I've been using for quite some time now. Then we have this setting, periods to show, and this simply tells the indicator how many periods to show. And each one of these bars on the histogram is a period. Here's 1 period, 2 period, 3 periods. And this value is only used when this is set to false. So if you say false here, the indicator will read this value, which if it is set to 0, it's going to show you 3 times as many periods as you can see on the current chart, or you can specify this value manually. We can say, for example, 3. You go like that, and you can see that we can see 3 periods, 1, 2, 3, which correspond to these 3 periods here, the last 3 periods. Set this to true, and we can see that we have half of the visible candles. So this just simply, as I mentioned earlier, fills half of the screen. Okay. Then we have this setting here, which is called averaging, and this is in relation to calculating a exponential moving average of the strength information. If this is set to false, you'll notice that these values can get a little bit erratic, and if you want to smoothen this out a little bit, you can simply set this to true, like so, and it's going to smooth things out a little bit. If you want bleeding edge information, you can leave it on false, but if you want smoothed out information like I normally like, then you can put it on true. And down here we have the look back, which tells the indicator how many periods back to use when calculating this strength information. So it's actually looking at currency strength 21 periods ago, and it's comparing that to currency strength now. So if we set this to, for example, 3, which is a very, very quick value, you'll see that they're moving around the 0 line, and you can see these short blasts of currency strength. So what we can do is you can set this to a value that's a little bit bigger. So you can either set this to, for example, I don't know, 34, like so, or you could smooth it out by putting it onto a smaller value and averaging this information by setting it to true, like this. So the result is pretty similar, as you can see. Okay, now we have the symbol settings, and this is in relation to the names of the symbols. For my platform, my symbols look like this. For the euro, Japanese yen, we can see that it's EURJPY. But on some platforms, there'll either be a value prepended or appended to the value. I've seen many that have pro added to the end, so it'll say EURJPY and then lowercase PRO, and so you have to add that here. And this allows the indicator to find the names of these symbols, because if it can't find them, it can't calculate strength information. Good. And here we have the appearance settings, the width of the line. This is simply the width of the histogram bars. I got it set to 2 by default, but you can set it to, for example, 1 if you want them to be slightly smaller. And you can also change the colors to whatever you like. If it's, whatever you like. Green, for example, zero line can be magenta, and then you'll see that it looks like that. That's about it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, please send them in. Thanks for watching.